Hello everyone and welcome to Shelby This Week. Top news stories, active shooter training, and raising money and hope. All this plus much more, but first, the Shelby Police Department's getting the most modern, up-to-date skills. Nick Buckler gives us the details on this intense training.
Do you ever wonder what would happen if you were out at the movies with your family or sitting in class during a boring lecture and someone with a gun came in and began shooting? The Shelby Township Police Department is starting active shooter training at the end of March.
So my goal here as a chief of police in Shelby Township is to make sure that all of our officers are highly trained with specialized skills to deal with an active shooter threat. So I made that mission number one. My first day I got here, I found out about our training or lack of it in this regard, and immediately put the ball in motion to get all our officers trained up to speed to go deal with an active shooter.
With times changing, it is important everyone in the department gets the proper training just in case something happens in Shelby Township.
This speaks volumes to the direction that the chief is going. I support it 100%. As a former SWAT member, I think that the role of the frontline officer has changed today. Time is critical, and so this is really going to provide them with the tools to address this situation. God forbid it comes to Shelby Township.
Officers used to be instructed to secure the outside of a building and wait for the SWAT team to arrive. Well, at the same time, the gunman is still on the loose in the building. With this training, officers will be able to go inside and secure the gunman rather than wait for somebody else to show up and do so.
In the late 90s, when the nation suffered the horrific experience of Columbine, law enforcement suffered a black eye in that day. The officers had been trained to call and wait for the SWAT team. So you had a situation where you had officers pull up outside where gunfire was going on inside the building, screams, kids were being killed while they waited outside for the SWAT team. And we vowed on that day, no more. We're going to do things differently. So what the training at that point was teaching officers to give them the skills to go in with each other and move in and try to neutralize the threat. The training that Tactical Encounters is going to give our department is going to be a next level, where the officers are going to be trained to go in and deal with a threat one-on-one. Most of these people that go in and try to shoot places up, they're acting alone. So our officers are going to have the skills and the confidence, they're going to receive the skills and the confidence necessary to go in and deal with a threat one-on-one.
Police Chief Shalide says that there are nearly 20 active shooter cases per year in the United States, and it will happen again. Shelby Township Police will be ready if it happens here. From the Shelby Township Police Department, I'm Nick Buckler for Shelby This Week.
Looks like it'll be some great training. A ceremony for a new officer happened recently. Kevin Bailey is the newest officer for the Shelby Township Police Department. Officer Bailey was sworn in this past week. Last month, a few new hires and rank changes happened. This has been the first time since 2009 they've hired in police. Congrats to Officer Kevin Bailey. Bonnie Bowman has been a dispatcher for Shelby Police for 22 years, and before that, Utica Police. Bonnie was diagnosed with cancer 2 years ago. Doctors say she's cancer-free, but now she can't work. That's where her coworkers step in. They're holding a fundraiser at Coyote Joe's on March 26th at 6 p.m. Lieutenant Scott Trumbo tells us more.
Financially, she's struggling, and and when I asked further questions, it started to alarm me that why aren't we doing something to help her? We've done that for other employees a couple times in the past, and Bonnie's always been the person to be there for other people, to help plan fundraisers, organize them, participate in them. She does a lot for the department, and it just felt like the time was right to help her. So I got with all the dispatchers, and they've been great. They readily wanted to help her, and we all just kind of formed this arrangement to start a benefit for her.
The fundraiser again will be at Coyote Joe's, located at 49440 Ryan Road. Tickets are $20 in advance, $25 at the door. For more information, call 586-731-2121, extension 3. Tree removal will be happening along a local trail. Charlie Cadado reports.
32 trees along Stony Creek Trail will be cut down this month to keep the area safe from a large natural gas line that runs right through the trail. Consumers Energy Forestry Operations Department are clearing trees between DeQuinder and Shelby roads through March. Shelby officials say it's routine maintenance for the company to take care of their line.
It's just the part of the business when you have an easement that you are required to maintain it. What they're doing is they're doing vegetation management, so they have to maintain their easement so they can keep an eye when they do their inspections.
Officials add that Consumers Energy is responsible for maintaining their own gas lines south of the trail, so any tree clearing cost is entirely up to them. But Shelby Parks and Recreation will continue to trim any hanging trees on the north side.
So Shelby Township Parks and Rec, as I mentioned, we have a trail along there that we maintain. The north side of the trail, which backs up to some of the homes, there's some overhanging trees that we'll have to cut back. That's just our general maintenance that we do every year.
The pipeline runs from a compressor station in Oakland County through Shelby Township and extends to New Baltimore. Consumers Energy says they will clear trees in all affected areas. Officials say it's been a few years since trees along Stony Creek Trail have been touched, but they're keeping most of the bigger trees as is.
They are trying to save some of the bigger trees they can, and the reason they do this, a couple of reasons. One is they'll cut down the scrub, the weeds, just so they can walk it and maintain it. The other thing is the root system from the trees can affect the pipeline. Then you have a major issue if it damages the pipelines.
For Shelby This Week, I'm Charlie Cadotto.
Okay, good information on that trail. An increase in assessments, that's a good sign, a much-needed rebound in the housing market. For Shelby Township, we all know about the recent housing market recession, but good news. According to our assessing department, there's a 12% increase in assessed residential value. So with the 12% and with a lot of math, homeowners' taxable value went up 1.6%. Good news that your property value is rising. Coming up, cleaning up Shelby, potholes, and NASA visits. Stay tuned.
If you or someone you know are turning 65 this year, you are welcome to join the folks at the Shelby Township Senior Center for their Medicare 101. It'll be held on Thursday, March 19th at 1 p.m. at the Senior Center. Come and learn the parts of Medicare and what it covers, Advantage Plan and Medigap Plan differences, also when to file or when to change your coverage, unbiased and confidential assistance. That's Thursday, March 19th at 1 p.m. at the Shelby Township Senior Center. For more information, call 739-7540.
Something's back and drivers can help report for help. John Martin is on Pothole Patrol.
In case you haven't noticed, the potholes are back, and so is County Executive Mark Hackle, who is once again advising motorists to call 911 to report damage causing potholes.
In Macomb County, if there's a damage-causing pothole where somebody hits the pothole, blows a tire, and they're worried about somebody else, if they call 911 in Macomb County, we will have our Department of Roads out there immediately when we get that call from that 911 center, and within 1 hour, we'll be addressing the issue to figure out how do we fill that pothole so somebody else doesn't hit it or get hurt. If you decide not to, and you want to call another number, I can't guarantee you how long it'll take another DPW, MDOT, or the Department of Roads to get to it if you're calling another number. Here's why, and I'm going to show you this. Very simple. If it's a damage-causing pothole where somebody is going to be harmed or they're damaging their vehicle, you can rest assured somebody else is going to do the same thing. A normal pothole, one that isn't damage-causing, is a concern. Yes, we're going to try to get to that. We're going to address it. But if it's one where you realize you just blew out a tire or somebody else, don't allow somebody else to blow out their tire. In Macomb County, if you call 911, we're going to get there within 1 hour to address it. Now, understand this. Here is our Department of Roads number that if it's not a damage-causing number, a pothole, that you can call. I guarantee you, whether it's the media putting us out, people seeing it, reading it, they're not going to remember this when they blow out a tire and they're worried about somebody else hitting that same pothole. They're not going to remember this number, but we're going to give it to everyone anyways. But understand this, if you call that number or any other number that's out there, we've got 30 days to fill that pothole by law. 30 days. That is unacceptable. And as you can tell, that's approximately 720 hours. That is unacceptable for any public official or anybody that deals with public safety throughout the state to say, hey, that's okay. 30 hours or 30 days is enough, 720 hours. So if it's damage causing and somebody is going to be harmed by it or already has been harmed, we want to make sure that we're going to address it within 1 hour. That is my responsibility until we can figure out how do we come up with funding to fix roads so we're not just worrying about dealing with filling potholes.
The exec also used this opportunity to voice his support of Proposal 1.
People are asking me, is this something that I support? Well, I support funding for roads and always have. My job is to work with those that are responsible to come up with that funding to let them know how important this is. Their job is to figure out how do they come up with the funding. And so what we have here is a legislature that came together with a proposal. Is it the optimal plan? Is it the one that I would have suggested or had an idea? Well, you know what? Probably not. It wasn't my idea, but that's not my responsibility. It was for the legislature to come up with an idea and a way to fund roads. They came up with this proposal. It would mean about $26 million a year more for Macomb County to fix roads, not just sit out here and talk about filling potholes. So I'm supportive of it for that reason, meaning that we definitely need the money to fix roads. If this proposal goes down, you're looking at least 2 more seasons before we can come up with a solution to actually fix roads here in the state of Michigan. So if we don't pass this proposal, the question is, what's Plan B? And if Plan B is enacted, how long will it take us to actually get at working on fixing roads? You're talking at least 2 years out. So I'll be having open season once again with the media talking about potholes for 2 more seasons if this proposal fails. So why would I be suggesting that we support this? Well, for the reasons that it's $26 million a year from Macomb County to fix our roads, which is what we need to be talking about.
Remember, the fastest and easiest way to report a dangerous pothole in Macomb County is to call 911 and report your location. For Shelby This Week, this has been John Martin reporting.
A dog was taken at a local park and the owner is frantically searching for answers. It happened March 11th around 8:20 at night. A resident was out walking her dog named Shelby at Maystecker Park near 24 and Van Dyke. The woman walked to her truck to get some water for the dog, only 60 feet away from the puppy. When she turned around, 2 men had pulled up in a truck, grabbed the dog, and drove off. Shelby is a mixed pit bull and bull mastiff and only 12 weeks old. If you have any information about this stolen puppy, call Shelby Police. NASA, not only do they reach for the stars, they recently reached out to local high schoolers. NASA has a program called High Schools United with NASA to create hardware, also known as Hunch. They teamed up with the Romeo Engineering and Tech Education Center, the only high school in Michigan because of high grades. Students build hardware for space stations. It was also the same day Students of the Month were recognized with a congressional certificate. State Representative Candace Miller joined scientists and NASA engineers to present the certificates, but also tour the facility, talk to students about the incredible hands-on opportunities at this school.
But these kids, what is happening here is really nothing short of remarkable, whether it's in their engineering program, whether it's in their robotics program that we also had an opportunity to see here. And you know, I think so many of our students are so talented in so many areas. Everybody is not going to go be an attorney somewhere, and there's nothing wrong with attorneys, but I'm just saying there are other avenues to really have a fantastic skill set, to understand what kind of job opportunities there are out there. And when you see what these kids are doing here, things that are in the STEM program, whether that's science, engineering, technology, in the manufacturing fields, really it's just an incredible, lots of incredible opportunities out there.
Currently, high schoolers are building parts for lockers in space stations. This program started at the Johnson Space Center and is now in its 12th year.
This year was expanded to the NASA Glenn Research Center's region, and we selected several schools, including this one here in Michigan. It's the only school in Michigan. And what we're doing is working with the students to design and build hardware that will eventually be used on the space station.
NASA technicians, school faculty, and Representative Miller checked out the robots being built in one class and other hands-on classes going on. Also, the culinary students at the school started off the morning with a treat as they made breakfast for all students, faculty, and guests. This is a great example of real-life, hands-on experience at its finest. Students are giving back in a very artistic way. Arthur Schink tells us who is painting on a new canvas.
Whether you're a connoisseur of fine art or a paint-by-numbers pirate, the art world usually has something for everyone. They also say beauty is in the eye of the beholder, which pretty much breaks it down to you like what you like and that's how it goes. The art world can be a vast realm of countless rewards to the eyes, mind, and soul. Recently at Utica High School, academically recognized art students from all 4 of Utica Community School District's high schools teamed up to be part of an art project that might help heal, if not inspire, sick children at the Detroit Medical Center's future Children's Outpatient Hospital in Troy. Gail Rosenblum Kaplan, who has earned quite a reputation in both Michigan and internationally as a top-notch artist, is one of the people leading the mosaic creation process.
But this whole project, the whole concept really started maybe in November, where in order to plan for a project of this scale where you're working with 18 schools, and each school is busy, they have their own curriculum and their own schedule, and we knew that we needed to do this project before the school year ended. We create panels and work in the mosaic tradition, and the great thing about mosaic is that for every square foot of mosaic, you have about 250 tiles. So it really affords the opportunity for a lot of students, a lot of participation by a lot of people.
Which gives the entire process a feeling of community, something that Gail believes is not only beneficial to future patients, but also future artists looking to leave their mark on the world.
So you are a group of people working together from the Utica schools. So you're from 4 individual schools, okay? But you are part of the greater cause of the whole district being a part of this. And that's really what the installation is about, that the community works together. So when you think about it, that it's 4 separate schools all coming together for one single purpose. What excites me is to see the excitement of the kids. Because when I walk into that classroom, first of all, I have transferred their image, their design, and I'm telling them that their work is going to be up in a public installation, and we talk about what community is. And when they come in and they see this outline, it's kind of cool, but when I tell them that they're going to get to cut the glass, not only the girls, but the boys who are not always as anxious to get involved in an art project, they're going to get to cut glass. They're really excited. But then when they see how that glass that they have cut is placed, and at the end of the day, I ask the kids to come back before they get on the buses, because the first hour versus the 6th hour, you see a lot of progress, and the piece is basically completed within that one day. Kids, I would say, we get half the kids coming back to see what the completed piece looks like. So they're excited, and they're asking me, how do they know when the dedication will be? They want to come see this. Today, when you walk into a hospital, you don't see blank walls, and that's because there's a relationship between art and healing. So all 18 of these mosaics have the same theme, and it's the seasons. But we have 18 mosaics. No 2 of them are alike. Although I've been doing mosaics a long time, this was particularly fun, and I learned something, and that is when you're doing 18 panels, for me, even though I've done this before, it feeds on itself, and I really was thrilled to be part of this project.
I'd love to thank the Detroit Medical Center and the artists that they provided, because, like I said, the glass is extremely expensive, and so it was an opportunity for kids to do something that they might not necessarily be able to do in class.
You think you're going to go as a class or individuals to go check those out later?
I would love to. Yeah, they're supposed to have a reception in the fall, and I think it would be great for the students to be able to see it up. I don't know whether seniors will be able to do it or not, because they'll be on another path, but for juniors that participated, they'll be able to go see it.
It's obvious that by looking at the finished works, that the students working under the tutelage of a veteran artist have taken their first steps into the commercial art world. That's why I was wondering if Gail might help get the gang to help me out on a mosaic of my own. The question is, will it be a take on something like American Gothic, or my first choice, dogs playing poker? For Shelby This Week, I'm Arthur Schenk. I really think I'm getting this art thing. I'm a thinker.
Oh, that's beautiful artwork. In high school sports, girls basketball season had a great run. One team in particular, the Eisenhower Eagles girls basketball team. They've been a solid team. Coach says they've been growing the past couple years. They went to district finals against Romeo, but lost against the Bulldogs 53-26. Great job on a hardworking season. It's time to think softball. The Shelby Parks and Rec Department is accepting player registrations for the Little League's 2015 spring season. What better way to spend time outside than to get some exercise and sunshine? Practice begins in April, so get on the ball and register today. There's divisions for ages 4 through 16. Call 586-731-0300 for more information. There's a new way to keep sight of what's most important, keeping the minds of our young girls strong. Stacy Sansatera tells us how important strengthening the future mind is.
In an era of growing social media use and unrealistic expectations found on TV, there has been a frightening decline in girls' self-esteem. Enter A Beautiful Me.
So A Beautiful Me is a nonprofit organization, and our concept is to build girls' self-esteem.
This basic idea came from Karen's own personal experience.
I have 3 kids, 2 of them girls, and they were both in elementary school. And I started to see the shift that was happening in them. I just thought I'd start this gathering of girls, and we had a name for it, and it was going to be just a little side thing, a hobby, and I keep doing my graphic design until A Beautiful Me exploded, and the need was so a part of our community, as well as the communities around us, as well as far as internationally.
And the need to provide our youth a foundation of self-esteem is a gift of unmeasurable wealth.
So we started off with this 4-week program on purpose. You know, just start with one and consistently do it over and over and over. And this 4-week program has worked with close to 2,000 girls. And we meet 2 hours at a time, 4 weeks in a row, for a total of 8 hours. And in that 8 hours, that is our signature workshop series to build self-worth. If we love ourselves, then we can love others. It's not about us being better than someone else. It's accepting and loving ourselves for who we were created to be, not trying to create ourselves to be like the person next to us. We're all different.
And this positive attitude will help to grow our girls into empowered women.
It's not a feminist movement. What it is it's about creating 2 genders and making them, instead of the men being more of the dominant, but to be able to have us women, there's 2 hands so that we have men and women to work in a community. And to me, I believe it's all ethnicities that we are reaching out to. It's not just about a certain region or there's no geographic boundaries to self-worth. A girl is a girl.
A girl is a girl, yet there's technology now which makes it more complicated than ever.
Social media doesn't define you by how many likes you get. What is reality TV? Reality TV is not reality, and that's not what we are created to be. I do think that we can't pinpoint and say we need no technology. It's just how we use it.
So use that technology now in a positive way by going online to abeautifulme.com.
The big thing is that we can provide this workshop series to after-school programs as well as Girl Scouts. We supplement Girl Scout troops, youth groups, community groups. It just depends on who is willing to gather 20 girls. So I would like to invite anyone that would like to come and be a part of our group, whatever stage that they're at. And so at the end of the day, that they feel like their shoulders are back, they're more confident, they're willing to try things and get rid of that word can't.
A Beautiful Me is building better lives to enhance our communities for the future. For Shelby This Week, I'm Stacy Sansatera.
To learn more about these interactive workshops, check out their website, abeautifulme.com. We must be over the rainbow, a famous quote from the ever-famous Wizard of Oz, which was the theme for the annual Cassie Hines In Her Shoes dance fundraiser.
About 300 glamorous men and women came out to the second annual Cassie Hines In Her Shoes Foundation event to help make a difference in the lives of young adults diagnosed with cancer. They followed the yellow brick road, donating to help get young adults to a camp that Cassie Hines attended while battling cancer. Cassie's father, Chris Hines, tells us why the Wizard of Oz theme was picked for this year's event.
Really, it was because of, what it stands for, brains, heart, and courage. And that's certainly 3 of the key elements that a young adult needs as they battle cancer and then go beyond it, literally into the survivorship phase. So that was really, I think, the motivation. And obviously the Wizard of Oz inspires so many different things in us anyway. So we all hope for the Emerald City when we get to the end. So.
The Concord Inn became reminiscent of the Wizard of Oz movie set, with the Wicked Witch, Dorothy, Scarecrow, Lion, and the Tin Man.
When, we went through this as, with Cassie, and the difference that it made for her to get to a camp and be with other young adults who could experience the same things that she did, and they could talk it through. And, like most of them that go the first time, they have no idea how much of a difference this is going to make for them. And once they get there and they meet some friends, they just connect with each other, they stay in touch, they just build a great bond. And we saw the change in her, and that was something that she wanted to make sure everybody else could do, and we just sort of took the reins and went with it. So it feels great.
Cassie passed away March 2012 at the age of 21. At camp, Cassie gained acceptance, friends, and support.
We have had 36 flights that we've paid for in the last 2 years, and this year we already have 7 flights booked. In fact, 2 of them leave next week for Oregon. And then of those, because we do travel throughout the country, you don't have to live in Michigan in order for us to sponsor your travel, but this time we actually have 3 registered travelers for Michigan too that are leaving. So we're really excited about the Michigan factor, because that's where our heart is obviously in the mitten. So to see that, us really being able to grab hold of the young adults here and get them traveling is great.
There's kayaking, hiking, and climbing. Cassie developed the ambition to raise money to send kids to camp where her own journey began.
I'm glad that we can help out these people that need help to get to where they need to be, get to these camps and special events to help them really get through this tough time in their lives.
It feels amazing to help out this great cause and help out people that really need it, and it feels amazing, to be honest. I honestly didn't expect it coming in, but now that I'm here, I feel way more grateful and way more affectionate towards it's like making me aware of it way more so.
The In Her Shoes Cassie Hines Foundation is already looking forward to next year's event, the Fundraiser, having some fun and raising money for young adults that need some help.
We're just happy and blessed that at least, we can turn something that wasn't so good into something that is good.
And as quoted from The Wizard of Oz, a heart is not judged by how much you love, but by how much you are loved by others. Cassie was loved by all. The Senior Citizen Center was busy recently. This time of year, seniors come together to fill thousands of Easter eggs for the Easter egg hunt on March 28th. The colorful eggs are brought in along with candy, and seniors hop to it, filling each egg with care. All the eggs will be filled and used for the annual Parks and Rec Department Easter egg hunt for local kids. Again, that's on March 28th. And that's Shelby This Week. You can watch us online all the time at shelbytv.org. And don't forget to like us on Facebook at facebook.com/ShelbyTWPTV. Thanks for watching.
Little darling, it's been a long, lonely winter. Little darling, it seems like years